Welcome to our program On Target. As usual, as soon as we start this program, you have the authority to pick up the telephone and give us a call. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything: politics, religion, socioeconomic issues, whether the issue is Israel, Hamas and the Palestine, whether it's Nicaragua and Germany, whether it's Dick Mitchell, whether it's the Catholics and the present conflicts that seems or appear to be shining, you could give us a call. We speak about anything. We fear no subject matter. We express our opinion on any issues. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hey, man, take it first. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
It's a good to hear you, Oli, man. Go right ahead.
Good to see you passing too. Yeah, the collection in the churches, like when they collect the money, like offering whatever, where this bank is, and where that they bank in the church money, which like I put and this one put in the collection box.
That is the only question you want me to answer?
Well, I want to know where the bank and which is the bank that the money.
I could answer you that question. That is an easy question to answer.
Yeah.
Any other question?
Now, well, you don't answer my question and see which bank.
All right. Thank you. I'll give you I'm going to give you some information on it. Now, when people go to church and they give collection, the collection in the church is for the upkeep and maintenance of the church. To pay the electricity, to pay the water, to pay the telephone, to repair the church buildings, and to do other charitable work that the church may have. And that is collection in the church. You give what you have. So if you're living in a poor community, the church might be very poor. If you live in a rich community, the church might be rich because you will give much more than perhaps me in the church. And normally that's what they do with collection. In addition to that, the Catholics have the most schools in Grenada after government. They have the most home for the aged after government. A lot of churches don't bother with home for the aged. The Catholics have their own home for the aged. You notice you have a lot of Catholic cemetery. So they buy land and the people bury in the cemetery. And the collection money is not enough. So one of the biggest activity the church have to raise funds is harvest. And what people do in harvest, they bring what they have. They bring the harvest. And then they sell it. And the money go to the church. And if you notice, the Salaka in River Sally, it is known as the mothers of all Salaka. The church have the harvest on Thursday. And whatever remain, the church encourages the people to cook it and share it to the community. And that is how the River Sally Salaka start. I hope I answer.
Okay, you say that the money what all you collect, no matter Adventist, Baptist.
I don't know about Adventist. No. Wait. Listen, I don't know about other church. I'm telling you about the Catholic Church.
I was just saying something. All right, Mr. Pierre. No, you say that the churches, when they collect the money.
I don't talk about the churches. I'm talking about what I know.
Yeah, well,
I'm not speaking for Islam. I'm not speaking for Adventists.
Electricity bill, they pay all kind of things.
The electricity, the telephone, the water.
Yeah, but you never mention about feeding the home and feeding the monthly hospital.
And
helping the poor people. So,
what do you want,
this collection is going to help the poor and them. They have to do the thing for themselves.
Bacchanal, you want what?
No, let it pay the light bill, the water bill, the telephone bill.
Culture. Remember, I tell you, the Catholics have the most homes in the country. And they have the most schools after Culture.
But you didn't mention about helping the schools, home. Mr. Pierre, you must face it.
Culture, you must come to Culture. Let me and you come to church now. After church, we will go and drink a rum.
I can't go to church with you because
Mr. Badman.
Save me. You can't save me.
No, Culture. Culture, me don't want to save you. That's what I tell you. After we come out to church, we will go and hold a discussion in the rum shop.
But Mr. Pierre, you don't answer the question. What about the homes? The Monday hospital, you have to put in some money there to help the poor people. About you talk about the telephone, the water, light bill. You know what I mean? So I want to know where the bank is and where this
you don't have enough money to put in the bank.
Is.
You don't tell you? The church
did you bank it for God?
All right. Okay, Culture.
Okay, you have a good day, man.
And you when we come out to church,
to tie me up.
Me and you will go and drink a rum and then we go continue the discussion in the rum shop.
Not your beers.
Well, okay, no problem. I'll drink rum and you will drink beers. You will drink beers.
I'm ready.
Yes.
But these are good to it.
Yes, Colonel, thank you. Yes, so you have this issue in Israel, and I think it is worthy of talking about it. Yes, caller, welcome. Welcome. We have a caller on the line? Caller, you're there, so you could just speak. Don't listen to the radio. Yeah.
Good afternoon. I listen to the radio.
Yeah, brother. Yeah.
That first caller that called a while ago, that gentleman called a program yesterday. I was listening to the program, and he made some allegations towards the former Prime Minister of Grenada. I would like to let that caller know. If you're ill-informed, brother, come to our school of knowledge. You will get to know, right? Don't come to this program with your nonsense and your bullshit. It's about telling people get to understand what's going on in Grenada now. What does the church have to do with we? If you don't like what the church is doing, brother, that is your problem. Keep it to yourself. Go to the Lord with prayer, brother. Mr. Pierre, we are seeing things happening in the country here, right? And we are turning a blind eye to it. Mr. Pierre, this morning, I happened to listen to a program on GBN with the Minister of Karakou. And to me, this gentleman is the most arrogant.
The hatchet man?
Ministers.
The hatchet man?
Simple questions. This man can't answer. A simple question as Mr. Minister. We were hearing of people getting contracts from members and close associates. And this man go around the question, all how, right? Another caller asked the guy about the Procurement Act, the money from 15,000 to 100,000, and that could lead to corruption based on the minister's influence. He still beat around the question. I don't know.
But caller,
cannot see.
Caller, you think he could honestly answer the question?
He cannot.
He can't answer the question. There's a bunch of vultures that greedy and want to live on government coffers. They can't answer this question.
This gentleman came on alive and said, people begging him for money and all he have in your
$2.
Which banking created? I mean,
a woman say he lied.
I look at these people, my goodness, man. I mean, Grenadians, come on. And lastly, I've been listening to the same this program yesterday. I listened one this morning. You know, for the last couple of months, they said NNP disorganized, NNP dead, NNP buried. They started to see little meetings going on. They started to get problem now. That problem now. They see Dr. Mitchell in a function abroad. That problem with that. All kind of problem having. Leave NNP alone. If NDC is so strong, why you all worried about NNP and NNP convention?
I don't agree with you.
We're coming for you.
I don't agree with you. Because let me tell you why. In 2008, 2013, the NNP come back and win 15 seats, and then they win 15 seats again, So you expect NDC to leave NNP alone?
You understand?
They can make it. No.
Have a good afternoon.
Yeah, you can't expect NDC to leave NNP alone. The amount of wrong things NDC doing now. They sit down there and every time they hear NNP, they're shaking, because they are doing so much of dishonest and wrong things. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre?
Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, you like who open bat? And I'm glad my partner open bat. But me and him go to church, and from church, We'll go to the rum shop and continue the discussion. He drinking beer, I drinking rum.
Well, Mr. Pierre, I see the news stating that the whole adjustments with some, they say,
Really?
how much he weighs.
510 pounds.
Well, I'm telling you. So, they're supposed to jail them people and them. What they had to do. They're not jail them.
They should pick up Deacon with them. They should lock up Deacon too.
They had to stop that.
Deacon needs some jail too.
They had to
Because
stop.
Deacon is encouraging the drug man to be emboldened.
Huh? The man stand up by a marijuana tree. They don't tell him nothing. They don't do him nothing. They give him on the news and say how much pong they hold, they weigh, and how much pong it is, and what it costs. That don't going on good at all. That don't going on good because I go watch the news and I go talk. Trust me. So in the jail, what good for the goose, good for the gander. That's what I'm listening there. I'm watching it and I'm listening to it and I'm following it up and I go talk. Trust me. Mr. Pierre, enjoy your day.
Yes. So we have the issue between Israel and Palestine and Hamas. And Nicaragua has brought Germany to the international court because they claim Germany is facilitating the genocide in Gaza because Germany is selling arms to Israel. So the case is going on now. Germany is presenting their side of the story. And we have a number of Grenadians, including Christians, the bishop and Gerard Paul, Father Paul, all of them end up in the melee. But I think Grenadians must learn about the three famous no's. Take your phone and Google the three famous no's. That is where the Arab League summit was held on the 29th of August in Khartoum. And they came up with three no's. No peace with Israel. No peace with Israel. No recognition of Israel's right to exist. And no negotiation with Israel. So when Grenadians want to put their mouth in the issue between Israel, Hamas, Syria, Iran, and the Palestine, they must remember that there are some people in the world that want no peace with Israel, no recognition of Israel's right to exist, and no negotiation with the Israelis. And it's in that context you create some of the legal and moral dilemma in the world. Because some countries want the Jews dead. In fact, the Jews is the most hated nation in the world. And you only have 15.7, well, let's say 16 million core Jews. 7 million is in Israel and 6 million in the United States of America. And some other countries have 100,000, 50, 10, 6,000, 12, and etc. Because most of the Arab nations, not most, some of the Arab nations, they will say the best place for the Jews is in the bottom of the sea. They want them dead. A lot of communist individuals, they want the Jews dead. China and Russia is supporting the Palestine and the Muslims against the Jews. So this is a dilemma you have. And the Jews themselves now, they're giving trouble to you. That don't mean the Jews ain't giving trouble to you. They're giving trouble. And it's difficult for the world. How do you solve this dilemma? With a stubborn group of people, one, do not recognize Israel's right to exist. But in all fairness to Israel, whether you like them or not, how do they deal with a people that don't recognize the right to exist? How do they deal with a people that take a decision, no peace with Israel? How do you deal with people like that? And they decide no negotiation with Israel. And Hamas is using their own people as human shields. So they're fighting in schools, they have their base in hospitals, and when the people die, they're showcasing them in the world, and they're using them as pawns. Now, South Africa brought up Israel in the International Court in The Hague, claiming that they were practicing genocide. Nicaragua brings up Germany and claims that Germany is facilitating the genocide. Some people say Israel have a right to exist. The Pope acknowledged that Israel have a right to exist, but expressed concern about the amount of people that are dying in the Palestine. And if you go back to World War II, the Israelis accused the Pope then of being quiet and not saying nothing loud when Hitler was killing 6 million Jews. This period of time, Israel again has accused the hierarchy of the church of taking the sides of the Palestine. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes,
good
my
afternoon.
brother, welcome.
Alan, yes. You make a statement a while ago about Nicaragua.
Nicaragua bring up Germany in the
Right.
International Court.
And South Africa
South Africa
dealing with
bring up Israel.
Israel. Right. Now, Germany supplying Israel with arms. America supplying Israel with arms. Who bringing up America? That's the question I want to ask.
No, you could have me. Nicaragua brought America in court a lot of years ago. You know, it's a good geopolitical to take them to court because you could have a moral victory.
So therefore, why they don't bring up America is the biggest supply to Israel for arms, with arms. Why they don't attack
most
Israel
countries,
instead of they attacking
as Germany is arguing now, that Israel have a right to exist, and they recognize Israel's right to defend themselves. And Germany is saying we have not done anything wrong. In fact, from 7th October, 13th October, the amount of military assistance we gave Israel dropped. So Germany is defending themselves in the court.
Right. Listen to me now. Yeah. No, you remember I did call a few times back, and I said how these Palestinians and these people, they hate Israel. They teach them the hate.
Yeah, they hate Israel. They want the Israelis dead.
Children.
Yeah.
Exactly. They wish Israel could bury in the sea. You understand? In fact, when Hamas attacked Israel on that dreadful day,
they celebrate.
And killed over 1,200, and Iran, he praised those who do it.
Yeah, they celebrate.
He kissed his hand and he praised those who do it. No, you're not hearing who taking for Israel, who sympathizing. How many of them are sympathizing with Israel?
And you didn't hear a lot of the Grenadians that jumping up now. They didn't say one word. When 1,200 Israelis was killed and the Hamas kidnapped about 250.
No, my stand from since I will not support some of the genocide Israel is
but Israel is not saying it's genocide. You know. The genocide
But what I'm saying, the genocide coming from when Hamas men fighting amongst the innocent people, when they putting arms in school, bombs in school and under hospitals, and even inside hospital, you're seeing all kind of RPG missile launching and all kind of. You seeing all these weapons and them inside there. What would you want Israel to do? Now tell me, what do you want Israel to do? Israel have to stand up. They have to stand up. There's nothing better they could do. But the only thing I don't want them to do is to go in Rafah and go and bomb these people and them down there, because they tell these people and them to go there to take shelter there. So if Israel go there, and which Benjamin is planning to go there,
So
and
what
which he's not
what
taking
happen if
no
Hamas
calm
going?
answer.
What would happen,
Yeah.
Color? What would happen if Hamas firing gun from Rafah? What you want the Jews do?
That's the next thing again.
That is not easy
You
to
could have remember Mr. Pierre. You could have remember Mr. Pierre in 1990 when America invaded Iraq under the first Bush administration in 1990.
They came with the work with the winning.
The stone fall on the butt. Yeah. While America bombing Iraq sending bombing Israel.
Yeah.
You understand? To provoke Israel, no, so the war going to be a wide-scale war. But America tell Israel just take the bomb and put it.
Yeah.
You understand? So that one trying to tell the nation that these people is a bunch of people what hate the Jews, even the holy Nazis. And
a lot of Christians hate the Jews too. A lot of Christians don't hate the Jews. That they say it's the Jews that killed Christ.
A lot of them.
So they want the Jews dead.
Part of it.
Yeah.
But part of it, yes, they was heavily involved. If we read the Bible carefully, they was heavily involved in
but it's not a good thing Christ died. It's a good thing Christ died to prepare salvation.
They was fulfilling the prophecy, and they didn't know, and still up to now they're still waiting on the Christ to come to save, to die on the cross, and they're still waiting for that. Most of the Jews still waiting for that.
Yeah. Yes, scholar. Thank you. Yeah, we opened the day with this difficult solution. Difficult to get a solution to the Middle East issue. And as Grenadians open their mouth on it and expect to take sides, yea and nay, they must understand how intricate, difficult, and challenging this thing is morally and legally. They must understand that. And they must also be cognizant to be aware of the famous three no's. No peace with Israel. No recognition of Israel's right to exist. No negotiation with Israel. And I was able to express your views on that. How do you have a ceasefire with a people that want you dead? Just because you have the upper hand, they want you dead. How do you make a ceasefire with a people that is using their own people as human shields? They're going in the schools, in the hospitals, in community organization, in populous civilian areas, and they fire in gun. And when they meet your people, they rape them, they desecrate their bodies. How do you deal with this level of hate? And this is why sometimes, over the past 10 years, I've been taking issue with some of the statements made publicly in Grenada by the Prince of Hate and the most fractious motivational speaker. And I believe Deacon Mitchell is a student of these two bitter individuals. Why do I say that? Deacon Mitchell declared restorative justice. That is vengeance in political practicality. When you implement restorative justice on the ground in politics, it is political vengeance. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
Good morning, brother.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, brother. Mr. Pierre, I've been listening to a program with JT this morning.
On Haiti?
JT.
You listen about barbecue?
Nah, the fellow on GBN no.
Okay.
To the point program.
I didn't hear that.
And I find it really embarrassing to have an announcer repeating what people say. As a announcer, a journalist, what somebody tell you, you ain't supposed to peg it. This man pegging NFP information. He pegging it. A man says something, you have to investigate it and find out if it's true towards the man. That one of the most backward part of journalists I ever hear. The man saying that, the man say that. The man say that. Why you say you don't know, you just pegging information while you're hearing somebody say. To me, he's an NFP sympathizer, so he pegging NFP propaganda. Mr. Pierre?
You find he's an NNP?
I find he's an NFP sympathizer. Because you can't repeat in what the NFP man say and tell the man to answer that.
Well, yeah, but if he had, I guess he had.
You have to investigate.
Caller.
And find out what the man says.
Caller.
But you can't go and ask
Caller.
the man is that true. They back on this, Mr. Pierre.
But if he had.
You're a journalist. You go and you heard the man say something. You go and investigate it and find out if it's true. You can't go and ask the next man is that true. You pegging information.
Caller.
What the man says, tell you what the man says. They pegging information. They back on this, Mr. Pierre.
All right, thank you.
I listen to a program where the NFP people, they're trying to take back the $20 from the people.
Which $20?
They bring from 40 to 20 to 60.
Which $20?
Oh God, the NFP, the minimum wage, they bring it to $60 for the ordinary worker.
And the NNP want to take it back?
They're against it.
Well, why you could say that? Kala. Let me cut in a good rhythm now. What you say, NNP want to take back $20?
The impression they give, they want to take it back.
But you can't say.
Mr. Pushman saying that he got right, but he against it. What kind of nonsense is that? The impression they many people give people that the money is too much for the poor.
Kala, let me say something to you. Listen to that. The government increased the minimum wage.
Yes, we know that.
And, so Kala, hold on a while. So you wouldn't find no employer objecting outright to the increase in the minimum wage. Now, I have said give the government 6 months to a year to see the impact of the increase in the minimum wage.
So you
Caller, hold on. Hold on. Caller, you could increase the minimum wage, but you end up with unemployment problems and drop in productivity. Now, the government of Grenada, Caller, have not increased the minimum wage in a lot of workplaces. How do you explain that? Caller?
I don't want to make them people slave in Grenada. Bring them back to $40 a day. That's wickedness.
All right, I surrender.
This is the average. I want to make them people slaves.
Okay, thank you.
That's what
Caller, the government of Grenada, and as you reach on that, I'm going to say on that. I'm calling on the Minister of Health to immediately increase the minimum wage in the Ministry of Health. Mr. Minister of Health, you like to jump around and talk about mad black woman. I believe it's you that you talk about the mad black woman. You're the Ministry of Health now. At that time, I think it was the one that was in health going youth. So we have a new Minister of Health. Mr. Minister of Health, your first act in health must be to implement the minimum wage. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre.
Yeah, my man.
Good afternoon. I find you and some of your callers, right? Getting in as though the war within Hamas and Israel start October the 7th. And Mr. Pierre, I think you must take the war a lot of years before that.
But if... Caller.
Mr. Pierre, listen a while. Remember, Netanyahu say is one state. Remember, Netanyahu don't recognize Palestine. So when you're making thing about Hamas don't recognize not Jews, it's Zionists. It's Zionists, Mr. Pierre, not Jews. It is Zionists that are ruling Israel today. And what's more donkey years, right? The Palestinians fighting against for their own state. Everybody, they're talking about October 7th, October 8th. The war didn't start there. The war never started. Let me bring people back where the war started. Please, Mr. Pierre. Thank you.
Yes, scholar. So I believe the government, the Minister of Health, Mr. Minister, you ought to have a little pride. You ought to address the minimum wage in the Ministry of Health. Make certain that government workers is getting the minimum wage. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes,
how are you today?
Great man, good man.
Yes, Mr. Pierre, we in the month of April. We know the 1st of April is All Fools Day. You have two men, what was called that program.
That means two partners there.
Man, you have Culture Man.
Culture Man opened back today.
Yes.
And he was good.
That other man.
But Culture was good today, eh?
Yes.
And this gentleman caused me to talk about the minimum wage. So that is good too.
What do them?
But that is good too.
Mr. Pierre, they didn't go to school. In August, we just get holidays, so they go to school in August. What taking place? What do Culture Man and them tell Culture Man?
But Culture Man asked me a good question about the church collection.
Yes, he asked a good question.
And I tell him what we're doing with the collection in the church.
But he know.
And he promised to go to church with me. So we're coming to come.
He should go and make a contribution to the different homes. Because he does there, selling, he making money, go and make contribution to the different
I want to ask him to buy me a drink when he doesn't buy me a drink at all.
And that Baba Bo, that one what does...
What do you mean by Baba Bo?
A stupidity.
I like that one. Baba Bo.
That one what calling you, Mr. Pierre, and don't giving you a chance to speak. Mr. Pierre, the world listening us. It's time, and it's over time for you to put them in the place. Have a blessing.
All right, thank you very much. The government of Grenada must implement the minimum. Government set the pace. So it makes no sense people accusing people in the private sector for not implementing the minimum wage when government themselves is not implementing the minimum wage. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre.
Yeah, my brother.
I call back. So I will call back the program.
I hope you don't call back to juke up the woman, you.
Never mind. I'm selling. I'm making money, but I don't still give.
Culture.
I don't still give people.
But culture doesn't give you.
But I still planting food and I still have food. So if you want something Friday, just come by the cutting union. You get a 2 yam.
I don't want yam. I want liquor.
I'm still giving a Hana fig, Miss Lady.
All right.
I'm still giving you a Hana fig. Don't mock me when I'm selling.
All right, Culture. Culture, you're a regular man on the radio. Every now and then, people going to make a little pot shot at you. So don't bother too much with that. Better we stick with the issues. Every now and then, people will make a pot shot at you. Sometimes it's just a joke. Don't bother too much with that. Because you're going to forget the issues and you're going to preoccupy with the low blow. So, Mr. Minister of Health, you have a number of people, some from Monkridge, Tivoli area, Montrule, Snell Hall. It seems all over the island that you did not increase the minimum wage they was receiving. You said this thing would take effect from January. Government have to set the pace. Government have to take the lead. The private sector gonna be watching you like a hawk and waiting till you implement it. And because you firing workers, some of the people in the private sector will be grumbling quietly because they don't want to lose their job. So you have to start the process by making certain that the people under your ministry in health, Mr. Minister of Health, you need to obey the authority of government and implement the minimum wage. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Good morning, Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
And a pleasant afternoon to your listening audience. Now, Mr. Pierre, I would like to start out by asking the question now. Am I correct in saying that from a historical standpoint, the Catholic Church would have participated in some of the worst genocide of mankind?
You want me to tell you that? No, I don't support you with that.
Okay, no, well, all right. So I just, I
tell you already history. When the victor write history, they always write,
All right, but is it fair to say? Okay, let us not say genocide.
The church has done things that they would have not liked to photograph, and they have done things in the past under the name of Christianity that is quite despicable.
Okay, all right. So, all right. So
we could agree on that.
Yeah. All right, we will agree on that. That's correct. No, sometimes, Mr. Pierre, I get so disturbed in terms of what has been taking place between the Palestinians and the Israeli over the many years I've been following international news. I don't know if it's correct to say that, but I have to say it. I can tell you, I have no problem if Israel gets rid of the Iranians, and I would not share a tear if the Iranians get rid of the Israelis.
You kill two birds with one stone.
Huh?
You kill two birds with one stone.
Yes, because because it reached a point in the existence of mankind where I just had enough of what is taking place between them in that part of the world. Now I'm coming home. Now, Mr. Pierre, the reason why I am not so quick to criticize and condemn the present administration is because being recently elected into office, it's a tall order for them. It's a very tall order. There is a lot of things. Even if they do a lot of roads now, they cannot point to roads. Even if they put a lot of put water in certain areas, these are not things you could point out because all of these things would have been done in the most extensive way by the past administration. Going back to my original question that I asked the last time, and I want to say to my NDC brothers and sisters, listen. Whichever government is in office, there is more than enough issues for us to criticize and condemn them on. So don't get upset if you hear Mr. Pierre and you hear Master Carl and them is legitimately in a constructive way criticizing the administration. Whoever is in office, there is more than enough issues for us to criticize and condemn them on. The question I'm asking is this. Now, if there are more people working now, if there are less people working now under this present administration in contrast to the NNP, that's a challenge for the present administration. If the present administration is collecting collecting less revenue now in contrast to the former administration, that is a challenge for them. The other thing I want to say here is, Mr. Pierre, listen, 5 years, what we call democracy, 5 years is not a long time for a new government to come in and make any significant change. So you have to understand the culture of the 5 years. And if you don't understand the culture of the 5 years, then what it means is that one term will always be your background in terms of governance. The last point I want to raise here is this, Mr. Pierre. As a NNP been in office for a very long time. And they would have done as much as they could have done during the time. Now we have this present administration. It is a very tall order for them. It is new people that does not have this kind of political experience. So I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. They still have some time in office. I would like to see them do better. But in case they fail, would not fail based on my criticism. They would fail because they did not do what the electorate is expected of them. The last point is this: you would have promised a lot, but most of the things that you would have promised, it cannot get done in the first term. That is a weapon for the opposition to use against you. But that is just the way the cookie crumble. Mr. Pierre, have a pleasant afternoon.
Well, I like that is some very powerful, objective points. And I like the one where you say, understanding the 5-year cycle. And most of the things you promise to address with the stroke of a pen, it cannot be done in the first 5 years. And Carla, I would like to join with you and appeal to the government that be to understand these things and make the necessary redress. But the worst thing the NDC could do, the worst thing, is to try to ignore the questions that are asked. When you ignore legitimate, genuine concerns, you are insulting Grenadians. And that could have serious negative consequences. Because I will be asking the same questions till eternity come. Who is the third party that is directing our foreign policies in Grenada? Why the government feel it necessary to plunder the GDB bank? The government have to tell us. They have to convince us that being agents of the CBI program is not opening a cesspool of corruption. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre. Good afternoon.
Yes.
I would like to let you know that with Hamas and Israel had done the hostage first. That's why Hamas come and do that now. So it's a deal Hamas won. If Israel give up 5, Hamas will give up 1. So it's just a deal. So and you have that song where Peter Tosh sing. Everyone is crying out for peace, but where is equal rights and justice? Where is it? And I don't think it's that Israel God talking about. It's the next Israel. That's the Israeli. That's not the Israelites. So you have to be careful.
Yes, scholar.
What they're doing. Aye.
Yes. So I think the government have to understand that they claim they will be open. They will be more transparent than the previous government. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, scholar.
I see when I listen to some of these people talk, they call Israel a sister. Mr. Pierre, if Israel have a sister, you know what I mean? They surrender to the Muslim. There will be no Israel again. Israel have to defend itself to the last. My brother, if Israel surrender, cover Israel and they surrender, they're done. The whole of the Muslim all sabotaging them. Let the people and the people be anti well. Israel go cover Israel and they go surrender and this and that, and they will go for it. The 1.2 billion Muslims people will be coming down on Israel like a sledgehammer. There'll be no Israel again. You talk about what Israel doing in Mogawe, that will be a test to what they will do to them Israelis. So I call on Israel to stand up and fight till the end. Fight to the end. Let her go in Egypt. Let her go and see in Syria and the place and take the damn land. That's yours. That's yours, Israel. Israel, you fight for that. They run you out of it. You come back now, stand up and defend your land. And if who they can do it, call on Israel, call on all Israelis across the world to come home and defend the homeland. I call on Mr. Ben Yahu to do that. Call on all of the Israelis across the world to come home and defend the homeland. And not let this Muslim and come and trample on you. With the minister again, this fellow come on with that. He is a Muslim. This guy is a Muslim.
Who is the Muslim there?
That is not the one I talk about that.
Is a Muslim?
He's a Muslim.
So you is a Jew?
I the same never a Jew. See, this man going and tell people that's how the Catholic Church and talk about that. They're not a business. So you understand, man? Let us kill Israel. If you want to talk about it, go and talk about it. Who the hell is he? He's a Muslim. He's only a Muslim. Yes, Mr. Pierre. So Pierre, you have a good day.
That's why we have to have a good laugh and we have to discuss these issues and we have to try to be as objective as possible. And we have to try to come up with solutions for peace. And that is why it is important for each of them to recognize each other's right to exist. And for Israel to move away from the Palestine land and for Hamas to hand over the hostages and to bring peace to the world. And in Grenada here, these things, the bitterness, the anger, and the hate that exists in these countries with devastating consequences. We here must recognize a little country like Grenada, we could do better. Israel is about 2% of the world population. 15 million. 7 point something million in Israel and about 6 million in the US and a couple 100,000 all about. But yet, the Jews and the Israelis have won the Nobel Prize laureate for literature 25% of the time. 2% of the people in the world has won the Nobel laureate for literature 25% of the time. We in Grenada here must take examples from that. We are 100,000 people, but our productive level in education must increase tenfold. We must be more productive as a people. Or we must raise our scholarship. We must work harder. We must be a more peaceful people. And our brothers in the diaspora, in foreign land, you must imitate the Jews in foreign land. You have over 6 million Jews in America, but a very powerful, very influential, and the main objective is helping Israel. And our people are away. Your main objective must be helping Grenada, irrespective of what party you're in. The emphasis must be on Grenada. And you must be able to discuss the issue, whether you're speaking to Dick Mitchell or Dr. Mitchell. You must be able to ask the pertinent questions that will improve our country. And I want you to ask Deacon for me. Who is the third party that dictating our foreign policy? Why we celebrating 50 years? It appears that Deacon Mitchell, nor the foreign minister, is not in charge of foreign affairs. Find out from Deacon, is it true that he is plundering the GDB Bank? Rumors are running wild in Grenada that dozens of top ministers and NDC officials are getting money from the GDB Bank. They believe they won't have to pay back when the bank collapses. Find out from Deacon, why is it that members of his executive are selling passports in the CBI program? Who is going to guard the guards? They become the chief cook and bottle washer. You in the diaspora can ask this question. You can ask him how much money was involved in the gracious offer to convince the cabinet minister to accept to go. We understand it's 100,000 plus. You don't lose pocket. But they cannot answer him question. So we appeal to you in the diaspora. Find out about the gifts that was received. Some of them in excess of 30,000 US. Ask him why it was not retired to the Integrity Commission. Recently they went to Parliament and they passed laws to increase the procurement order from 15,000 to 100,000. And ask Deacon why he is not legalizing marijuana, weed. Because many of our brothers, our children, are making movie on social media with weed. And now the police charging them. You could ask Deacon that. You would help Grenada when you take a position that seems objective. You see people in the diaspora, Comrade Ray and Brother William Joseph and Cousin Danley, they stepped up. They quiet as a lamb. So we don't know who to go to ask these questions, and Deacon not paying attention to us. But you in the diaspora, the 16th constituency, don't let yourself be used. You was used during the revolution. When Bishop was jailing over 3,000 Grenadians, you did not believe. When Broco was castrated, you thought it was a joke. The day Monkridge turned a graveyard, you did not respond. And when this sister from Burge Grove was executed, you turned your back. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my God.
Concerning this marijuana thing, I cannot the not to legalize that.
You don't want him to legalize it?
No.
Well, why? He say he gonna legalize it.
You have too much kind of in the country to legalize it, you'll make it worse.
But he said he gonna legalize it.
Well, yes, he could change his mind too. Let me tell you something, Mr. Pierre. These people are never calling for permanent anymore. If Isaac can, I don't give them no permanent. You know. Mr. Pierre, anytime them public servants get permanent, they get lazy. You can't talk to them, you can't do nothing to them because they're not a permanent. So they just don't do nothing. When you tell them they turn in, and they turn the backside. Not to legalize them. Not to
don't give them permanent.
Don't give them no permanent.
And don't legalize weed.
Don't legalize no weed. Let me tell you something. The NDC passing a law. They go in Parliament and pass a law. They say new pension law. I want to hear it come. I ain't get no draft, nothing from it yet.
When they passing the law?
To the pension, concerning the pension, they're trying to pass an next pension so the workers who to have a pension now, they will get something.
Well, I didn't hear that. I don't know what is the law yet.
Well, I ain't getting it.
But we have to try to find out because it means that the Constitution doesn't affect them anymore.
The Constitution, listen to me. The main aim of this law is that to put the Constitution law out of order. So, in other words, they will stop hire people under this Constitution thing And what they want to do, people, from now on, every Grenadian, every pensioner in this country supposed to contribute to the pension. That's the main thing.
You see, Colin, you see how important it is for Deacon to tell us what he's doing.
Well,
So if you explain it.
That's the aim. But I say that is better. So every man and a brother in this country must contribute to the pension.
Well, we come to the end of the program, so thank you very much. Thank you, caller. And we want to thank all those who contribute to our program. And we encourage people to contribute to the program. Sometimes you may not like what somebody say, but from even the dull and the ignorant, they too have their story. Remember, all of us are Grenadians. We cannot call people, we shouldn't call people casteless and commoners. We should not be dismissive of one another. All of us is brothers and sisters, and we have to work together to build this country. And the democratic process going to always have those who perhaps against the government pointing out the ills the government do. The governments must prepare to provide information. Because the NDC is not providing information, rumors are running wild. Sometimes when people tell you things, you're afraid. That is why you see I keep away from breaking news. Rumors are running wild. And Deacon Mitchell and the NDC, all you have to prepare to answer questions. Otherwise, the rumors are going to pile up. And people are going to believe. And that is why we are appealing to people in the diaspora. Because they could see Deacon more regular than us. When he go in Ghana, to ask him these questions. If he answered, we would know what he is about. But right now, the government appears as a vulture government, taking advantage on people. And please, Deacon, bring the WASH program in Tivoli. We have a sister from Tivoli. She walking with a red stick. And she need assistance. She says she had to bail on she step. And when people pass in, they see she blessed assurance. So we encourage you, bring the WASH program. You cannot have the WASH program only in one constituency. You're setting up the other ministers. What you need to do is to distribute a number to every parish. What you're doing is wrong. We want to encourage you to do what is right. You have a chance to make a change, and who knows, you might end up a good leader eventually. But now you're doing things that is completely unacceptable, objectionable, and it is wrong. We're back with you again tomorrow between 12 and 1 for another opportunity to punch.